something all people need but not everyone can afford. The problem of food pricing is such a brutal dilemma, yet it's so embedded in modern society that solving it is nearly unfathomable. So, how can we attempt to tackle this problem? First, we need to analyze the ridiculous statistics regarding this worldwide problem, and then look at the effectiveness of current strategies. Let's find out how much food is wasted every year in the world. According to en.reset.org, 1.4 billion US tons of food is wasted per year worldwide. America wastes around 80 billion pounds of this numeral, or 40 million US tons of food a year. Do you even know how many Big Macs that would be? I don't, but if you do the math, you'll probably see a lot of zeros. Prior to watching this video, you may have heard stories about people starving in Africa, plagued by food deserts and drought. And while you may think that you can't do anything about those tragedies, the average American wastes around a pound of food per day. That means for your weekly shopping trip, a large percentage of the food you buy is going to end up in the garbage. That percentage of food that ended up going to a landfill could actually have fed multiple of the starving families mentioned earlier. But honestly, nobody's perfect, and while it's possible to clean up your act in that area, there are other ways to help reduce food waste. Some of these are even related to minimizing your waste footprint, as discussed with the shopping example before. One of these ways is to know what you're cooking each week. Whether it's steak and potatoes or boxed mac and cheese, this can help you plan what you need to buy while you shop. You can also know who you're cooking for and when you're cooking so that you can judge how many of each item you need and if the item will be fresh by the time you cook it. One of the main reasons for food waste among households is food going rotten and not looking appealing. But you can help stop that trend with a little extra planning. That way, you spend less money and have more food, all while decreasing food waste at the same time. This strategy, while effective in supermarkets, can also be used in farm stands, which leads us to our next strategy. Another way to do your part in this fight is to buy equally from supermarkets and farm stands. Doing this can ensure that local gardens and farms stay in business, and these patches of farmland are bound to produce fresh and healthy food. That means that you're supporting a local business and getting better food. Though many people don't live near a farm stand, you can also grow your own produce, which can be made in more places than a supermarket can. This way, you can choose your quantity without having to buy it in the amounts that packaging would require, and it'll be more filling than buying a bunch of artificial foods and routinely eating them. This also is an exceptional way to reduce food waste because your food is there when you need it, and you'll learn to love your food however it looks. In fact, this leads us to the last way to reduce food waste in the video, but certainly not the world, which is to step up and know your facts. Most foods don't taste worse when they look different than the norm. But regardless of this, appearance is one of the leading causes of food waste. This is because customers won't buy different looking products, and the store will have no choice but to throw them away. But you, knowing your facts, could help make a change and buy the food no one else will. You'll probably be surprised by how good it is. Using these tools, you can make some serious difference in the world, and make a difference in your own nutrition as well. Good luck in your journey to help stop food waste, and your journey to discover more possibilities in the field of produce.
Imagine a society where everyone grows crops in their own home. This documentary will answer all questions you have or ever had about hydroponics. Hydroponics is a method of growing crops that are used all across the world. It can be used on rooftops or extra space. Hydroponic systems can go horizontal or vertical, which can take up less space than actual farming. There are many different ways that you can grow crops in hydroponics. One system is a tower garden. This is where the plants grow horizontal up a tower, which is water that runs up and down the middle to hydrate the roots. Hydroponics is a more efficient way to grow crops compared to farming. This is because hydroponic systems are grown inside. This takes up less space and can use alternate resources to grow the plants. Traditional farming is less efficient because it takes a longer time to grow. It is scientifically proven that crops that are grown in hydroponic systems will grow twice as fast. Now we'll talk about urban agriculture. Urban agriculture is when gardeners start farms and gardens in urban places. Urban farming is beneficial because people can turn their communities into pretty urban farms. They can grow crops in empty, run-down lots or empty space throughout their cities. This is a picture of one of many empty areas in cities around the world that get turned into gardens. Urban farming is the practice of cultivating and giving out food in many urban areas. This is more efficient because it can turn places into beautiful gardens. Overall, hydroponics and urban farming are both more efficient ways to grow crops in modern society.
Hey, I'm Yarden Rave, and this is my food waste documentary. After the Civil War, much of the southern United States was destroyed, such as farms, plantations, and houses. This left everybody with nothing. Abraham Lincoln proposed the Reconstruction Plan. With this Reconstruction Plan, the absence of cash or food led to the creation of sharecropping. Sharecropping was a system where the landlord/planter allowed a tenant to use the land in exchange for a share of the crop. This encouraged tenants to work to produce the biggest harvest that they could. They ensured that they would remain tied to the land and unlikely to leave for other opportunities. In the South, many Black families rented land from white owners and raised cash crops such as cotton, tobacco, and rice. This system helped bring families food and the nourishment they needed. Because without the system, people would die out of sickness because of lack of nourishment and hunger. Food waste has become a problem for many years that is affecting our planet, which is affecting us and starving countries. Food is being wasted for a variety of reasons, such as overproduction, overpricing in supermarkets, people not wanting to buy foods or throwing out foods because they are misshapen, have a different color, and are ugly. These all lead to bigger problems than we all might think. For example, when we throw out food into our garbage, this food is getting taken to landfills which get burned and produced into methane. Methane is a colorless, odorless, and highly flammable gas composed of one carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atoms. When this is burned in the existence of oxygen, it produces carbon dioxide and water vapor. Methane is used to produce heat and electricity. When this gas is let out into the air, it is being trapped in the atmosphere. This all leads to climate change, respiratory diseases, weather changes, an increase in wildfires, and a decrease in foods. We need to end the cycle of food waste so countries and people can stay nourished and not ravenous. We need to make a change so our earth is healthy again. Let's list some ways we can end food waste. In Living Environment, we watched videos and found smart, successful ways we could end the cycle of food waste. For example, we could start growing our own produce in our homes, backyards, or on rooftops of buildings. We could start composting surplus foods in homes and even in school, so all these foods don't end up in landfills. Last example is that every time you go to the supermarket, you make a list of food that you know you and your family will eat or use. If we all come together and use these ideas, we can indefinitely end food waste and let starving countries a chance to be nourished and healthy. All these examples and ideas come with no cost. We all just need your input on this. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you liked my documentary.